Please work with your attorneys, tax advisors, CPAs, or you do your own research before you implement any of those recommendations. Or you can feel free to work with me if you need any of my assistance for your business. I know that most of you guys already attended my webinars, but still there are, as usual, every time there are new attendees keep joining our webinar. So just I would like to talk very brief about me. It's me, Anil Grandi. I'm the CEO and founder of AG Fintax, we are based in Seattle. We have 2 offices in Seattle, and we are in expansion mode. I have 15 years plus experience as a CFO, controller, and senior executive positions with a international experience. I worked in India, I worked in Africa, I managed many projects in Europe, and I also worked in United States of America. I worked as a full-time employee in Amazon and PwC, and also worked in Starbucks and Sun Edison. Sun Edison is the world's largest renewable energy company. I was heading Indian operations as a finance controller. It was around $500 million of size of company in India. I am also a chartered accountant from India. I am also a IRS tax e-return authorized e-file provider. We are a professional team of around 10 members, including me. I have 5 CPAs in my team, 2 chartered accountants, and 2 CMAs, which are ICWAs. I want to give very brief why I came from high profile employment to corporate world to the small business world. For the last 15 years, I have been worked in multinational companies, and I learned a lot, and I tuned a lot to follow the best practices in the market, the best strategies we need to follow to build our businesses. After completion of 15 years, there was one incident when I was working in Amazon. There was one incident which triggered me, saying that I need to become an entrepreneur. In 2018, when we are finalizing our financials, we realized after finalizing the financials, Amazon pays zero federal tax, even they had billions of dollars as a profit. At that time, I thought, why can't we extend our knowledge and experience from big corporates to the small business world? So then I decided I want to quit Amazon, and I started my practice. In the last couple of years, I've been helping so many business owners, and I have hundreds of individual clients and also many business owners as my clients. In this year, as I always say, we need to see for opportunity and pivot to the business as required. This year, I noticed many of my clients are struggling because of COVID impact. Their businesses are almost ready to the shutdown, or their business got impacted, maybe maintaining a status quo without growth. Then I thought it's an opportunity for me to start helping my community. And then I pivoted my business all of a sudden, and I started helping business owners by offering my help in different loans and government to help the business owners to bring down the government initiatives at the doorsteps of business owners. So in this process, I have been helping many families, many business owners. So now we'll get into the topic. You might be familiar, CARES Act 2020. This act was passed on March 27th. This was one of the best ever act with an intention to support individuals and business owners. It's a $2 trillion plus package. From that act, there is one popular program called Paycheck Protection Program. This is around $600 billion funding. It started with 500, 600. It's the funding, and the objective of this program is to ensure employees are protected, and so that business owners won't lay off their employees. So the program is focused on small business owners. There are so many changes introduced after the act was passed. There were some interim guidelines, clarifications, notifications, statutes keep changing day to day. In this process, the recent change, Paycheck Protection Program Flexibility Act. This act was passed just a couple of weeks back, or a couple of days back, in the last week, and this is called PPP-FA. So now this is again a the biggest change in the entire PPP program. So now we will focus on what changes have come up and what is our interpretations. We're getting into the PPP Flexibility Act 2020. We are landing in this. The first major change, covered period extended. I am this presentation, I'm trying to focus mostly on what changes have come up. I'm not trying to focus on what was, I assume you know all the basics about this act. So my focus of this webinar is only just to focus where the changes have come up. The first one, covered period, you might have remembered, it was 8 weeks earlier. 8 weeks from the date of receipt of funds into your bank account. Now, this 8 weeks covered period extended to 24 weeks, which is a 6 months period. 24 weeks, it's not 6 months, it's just 24 weeks, or December 31st, whichever comes first. So what are the major changes? Covered period, it's extended from 18 weeks to 24 weeks, or 21st or 31st December, whatever comes earlier. Example, you might have think, how come December 31st is there? Because still there are many small business owners are still applying for PPP loan. The due date to apply for PPP loan is December 31st. If you have not yet applied for the PPP loan and if you are eligible, please apply. And still they have around $100 billion funds left over, not yet used. Please note, the covered period only got extended, but the salaries are still capped at $100,000 annualized salary computation, and covered period salary capped at $15,385 still. What does it mean? What does it mean? You have 8 weeks of salary, which is $15,385. You have time, 8 weeks of salary, you can spend over 24 weeks. That's what. So still you touch the $15,385 cap, you can continue to spend money. Once, and if an example, an employee touches $15,385 in the first 8 weeks, gone. He is no more, his salaries are no more counted after $15,000, $15,385, no more counted for forgiveness calculations. If an employee is around, maybe just I will take an example. If an employee's salary is only $70,000, in the first 8 weeks, if the salary is only maybe $12,000 approximately, so now you have a capacity or gap of $2,385, which is because the current is we spend only $12,000 for that employee. So you can continue to pay 9th week, 10th week, 11th week till he touches $15,385. You can continue to pay, but the forgiveness calculations capped at $15,385. What is this? You may be thinking that, oh, this is not much useful for me. The objective of this extension is to help the businesses who are near to the shutdown or who are struggling, like retail businesses or restaurant industry. They even, because the 8 weeks period is not enough to spend the forgiveness money. They receive the forgiveness money, but the restaurants are still not yet open. How can they spend? Not only restaurants, retail businesses, anything. If they are not yet open, how do they spend? So government or SBA noted these points and they extended the period with a focus to help them. You may be thinking, yeah, I already spent my 8 weeks. I already spent all my forgiveness amount in 8 weeks. What do I need to do? If you're already completed 8 weeks, and if you already spent your forgiveness amount in 8 weeks, if you're ready to apply, come on, go and apply for forgiveness application, but banks are yet to release the forgiveness applications. Once they release the forgiveness application, please go and apply. You don't need to wait till December 31st. If you have used 100% of your forgivable amount. The second change, the payroll percentage changed. Earlier, this was the case. Out of the total forgivable amount, 75% money of the proceeds of the forgivable amount has to be used for the payroll. The balance 20%, 25% can be used for non-payroll. So, what is the change have come up? What change have come up? Now, this has become 60% funds you have to use for the payroll, and the balance 40% you have to use for non-payroll. I mean, not you have to, because payroll is mandatory here. You have to use 60% money, 60% of the forgivable amount for payroll. The balance amount can be non-payroll. What happens if I use 100% for my payroll? Very good, use it. In how much, in how many weeks I need to use the payroll? In how many weeks I need to use the funds? 5 weeks, 10 weeks, 15 weeks, 20 weeks, 24 weeks. You have 24 weeks to spend your money for payroll or non-payroll, but the percentages are applicable. There are some more conditions which we will see here. As I said, payroll cost percentage reduced from 75% to 65%. Why this change have come up? Because there many people requested SBA saying that they don't have so many employees. They spend a lot of money on rent. Many retail industries, just go to some showrooms or many retail industries or restaurants. The rent is the major part of their monthly operating expenses. So for considering those requests, they extended, they reduced the payroll cost percentage. The second one, non-payroll cost percentage increased from 25% to 40%. I just said rent, other expenses like rent, utilities, or interest on mortgage payments. So those three things together, it can be 40%. No changes in eligible cost definition. What does it mean? There are absolutely no clarifications are given on eligible cost definitions, like what does it mean? What does payroll cost meaning? What does non-payroll cost meaning? What does utilities meaning? What is a rent meaning? They have given all those clarifications in final forgiveness guidelines, interim final forgiveness guidelines, which was released a couple of weeks back. If you have not covered if you are not much aware of those definitions, feel free to refer my old webinars on those topics. What happens if I don't spend my money 60% for the payroll? You are losing the entire forgivable option completely. Interesting. If you are a restaurant owner, you have to spend minimum 60% for payroll to even eligible to get your loan forgivable. If you think you cannot spend money for the payroll up to the 60%, as of now, as of today, the act is saying like this. SBA may come up with some guidelines saying that it is not mandatory or something, but as of now, this is what the interpretation. If you are not spending 60% on your payroll, doom, you are no more eligible for forgiveness. So how much time you have? You have time till December 31st, 2020. The next major change, rehiring deadline. What it is? You might have remember this one. June 30th is the cutoff to rehire employees. Why do you need to rehire? Again, those are coming from the previous guidelines. You have to maintain FTE, full-time equivalent employee, full-time equivalent employees you need to maintain in the covered period versus reference period. What is the definition of the reference period? I already covered. I am not going through there, but I have one slide in the down which we can cover in the next slides. So the due date to cover to rehire previous employees is June 30th. It got extended to December 30th. Oh, I'm sorry, it got extended to December 31st, 2020. 2020. This is not 2019. This is 2020. Okay. So you have time to rehire. If the number of employees, if the FTE, if some employees left your company, and you rehired those positions with some other people, you are good. You don't need to go back to the old employee and ask for, hey, please come and join. No. As long as you are able to refill the position, you are good. There won't be any impact on the forgiveness amount as long as you meet other conditions. Now we'll go in more details. FTE test, full-time equivalent test. Keep the same number of employees as in with the reference period. It's FTE, same number of employees, full-time equivalent employees. It can be a part-time, it can be full-time. And they added few more exceptions. You can go and say that, no, I am asking my employee to come back, but he's not coming. What to do? If you are unable to rehire the employee, and if you can build your documentation, you are exempted from these tests for those employees. And if you can rehire, otherwise you can say that you may be maintaining a restaurant, or you may be having some small manufacturing plant. You need a technician, but the technician skill set is not available. What to do now? You have time till December 31st to refill that position. You don't you don't have to go back and if qualified employees, if you don't find a similar qualified employees by December 31st, 2020, you are good. You are exception. You don't need to maintain it. Number third one, inability to return the same level of business activity at prior February 15, 2020. What does it mean? And this is due to health or safety requirement related to the COVID-19 that restricted their businesses. What does it mean? It means still few restaurants are not at complete, or few places are not at open completely, or there are restrictions now. Earlier in one outlet, 20 people can get in at one time, but now due to the restrictions, only 10 people can get in. Then why do I need to maintain the same number of employees when when the number of customers at any point of time within the building or within the outlet is less? It means if you are not able to maintain the same level of business activity prior to prior February 15, 2020, if you are not able to maintain the same, and that is because of the COVID-19, all those guidelines, or because of the local statutory requirements or local government regulations, then very good. You don't have to. So then you don't have to rehire employees. I hope I answered. I cleared here. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me questions in the chat. Okay, I am answering. In the Q&A. Just few instructions to all attendees. Please post your questions only in Q&A box only. I will be clearing Q&A box first, then only I will come to the chat box. So please post your questions in the Q&A. Number two, I also shared my calendar link. Feel free to schedule any meetings with me if you are interested to work with me. Number three, I also shared CARES update WhatsApp group link in the chat. Everything, all those links I shared in the chat box. Please go and join in the WhatsApp group so that you can keep getting all updates. Whatever is happening, we keep updating you guys. Then coming back to mine, repayment terms. it was 2 years earlier to repay PPP loan. You got a PPP loan, you got some money, got forgiven. If any money is still left over, you are supposed to pay back your loan within 2 years with some interest. Now this 2 years has period extended to 5 years. So you have a lot more time, and the interest rate is 1%. If you have more money in your business, PPP loan, put put it in your bank account or savings account, wherever it is, and you may be getting even more than 1% wherever. Don't use it. Just you can invest. You can keep it in the bank or somewhere. Or otherwise, if you think that you don't need money, please feel free to repay the loan with 1% interest. Extended deferred payment period. Once you got the loan, you got the loan, and earlier it used to be 6 months deferred payment. You don't have to start paying principal, interest, or any applicable fees. You don't have to start paying EMI till 6 months. But now dates have changed. Date of forgiveness determination. Once you submit your application, banker will take a couple of months to complete to give the forgiveness decision. Till the decision comes up, you don't have to start repaying your loan. You don't have to start repaying your principal or EMI, principal or interest or fees, or 10 months after the covered period. What does it mean? 10 months after the covered period. 10 months means, example, when is your cover period is getting over? December. After that, 10 months. So in other words, you have to submit your forgiveness application within 10 months. It means our interpretation. SBI might have come up and given new guidelines again. Conditions for forgiveness. I think these are the major changes have come up, which I covered at very high level. So many are, one second. Many business owners are still confused. There are so many changes are coming up. How to track all those things? I just try to summarize. What are the conditions for forgiveness? What is most important for you? Loan proceeds used for eligible expenses only. You need to use the loan proceeds only for the eligible expenses, payroll and non-payroll cost. At least 60% of expenses should be payroll. So if you don't use the money for at least for the 50%, for the 60% for the payroll, you are not eligible for the forgiveness at this point. No deduction in FTE. The full-time equivalents should not go down. Compare with what is full-time employees count? Compare with average weekly number of full-time employees, full-time employee equivalents during the covered period versus the reference period. What is the reference period? There are two options SBI has given. Number one, February 15th to one second. The covered period versus reference period. What is the reference period? The first option one is February 15th to June 2019 or January to February 2020. You can do the average FTE count, average weekly number of FTE for those period and do the comparison with the covered period and ensure that the FTE has not come down. What happens if FTE has come down? You will lose the forgiveness amount proportionately. And and there are some exceptions which we discussed. There are some exceptions to not maintain FTE, and you have a time for suppose the number has come down. What to do now? Unless reduction is restored on or before December 31st, 2020. If the number has come down, you have to restore the count by December 31st, 2020. No reduction in salaries by more than 25%. if you are maintaining, if you are paying salaries, but the salaries should not go down by 25%. It can go down by 10%, 20%, 24%, but it should not go down by 25% or more. How do you compare? Compare with average annual salaries of covered period versus Q1 of 2020. Take the average salary for the Jan, February, March, and take the average and compare with the covered period. If there are any reductions, you have a time to correct it by December 31st, 2020. Payroll tax difference. This is a not new one. There is a this is one of the big change has come up. If you followed CARES Act closely, payroll tax deferral is one of the program. Payroll tax deferral is one of the program hailed from CARES Act. Payroll tax. What is payroll tax? What is payroll tax deferral? Who are eligible? Employers and self-employed individuals are eligible. Employers can defer their 6.2% of the social security wages. For employees, you can defer it. For a self-employed, you are supposed to pay social security taxes of 12.4% on your net earnings. But in that 50% of the social security wages, the social security tax, you can defer for what period? For the period starting March 21st, 2020 to December 31st, 2020, if you need to pay payroll taxes, you can defer those taxes now. You might be thinking this is there already, but this is not applicable for the PPP loan takers. But now they amended the act saying even you availed PPP loan, still you are eligible for payroll tax deferral. And how till when you can defer? You can defer 50% of the due. You calculate the how much you need to pay from March 27th, 2020 to December 31st, 2020. Calculate the entire payroll tax amount, and you can pay 50% of the due by December 31st, 2021. And the balance 50% you have time December 31st, 2022. What you need to do for this to do this? You have to talk to your payroll service provider. It can be an ADP, it can be a Gusto, or it can be a Paychecks. Whoever it is, please go and talk to them and ask them to activate this option. You don't have to pay payroll taxes now. You can defer payroll taxes. What happens to the self-employed? For self-employed, what is a self-employed? Self-employed is nothing but for self-employees, the forgiveness calculations are a bit different compared to the business owners who have employees. Who are the self-employed considered? Owner employees, W2, who gets the W2, or self-employed under Schedule C, sole proprietor, independent contractor, single member LLC. If you are self-employed, you might have got your PPP loan based on your Schedule C net earning, net profit of last year 2019. So now what happens? Now your Schedule C income of last year divided by 52 into 8 is how you calculate your forgiveness amount. There is no clarification or no clarity given in PPP Flexibility Act for the self-employed employees. It is still not clear. So we are hoping these rules may change to W2 net profit as per Schedule C divided by 52 into 24. It is not there as of now. Still $15,385 restriction is there. Many self-employed self-employed business owners reached out to me for this calculation. There are no changes in your forgiveness calculation process at this point. If we get any further clarification, immediately after once we receive SBA guidelines on all these new act, immediately I will schedule one more webinar and I will explain everything again. Still there are unanswered questions. We got PPP Flexibility Act. They launched as usual. As usual, every time whenever they release an act, whenever they release guidelines, whenever they release interim rules, there are open questions. Again, now there are a few unanswered questions. We don't have answers at this point. We need to wait for the guidelines. When can borrower apply for forgiveness? No answer. Can I apply for forgiveness immediately after 8 weeks of covered period? Answer is yes, as per the current rules. Once your lender releases the forgiveness application format, of course SBI has given a format, but again lender will customize it. Whenever he opens up the door, you can apply for forgiveness. In 8 weeks, I'm not able to use my forgiveness amount, my payroll amount, my PPP loan amount. I took 15 weeks. Can I apply for forgiveness after 15 weeks? Answer is no at this point. You have only two options at this point. Either apply for the forgiveness application immediately after 8 weeks period, or wait till December 31st, 2020. You might have surprised, but as of now, we don't have answer for that. 60% requirement of payroll use. Is it must for forgiveness? I know personally, I have clients, retail business, who cannot spend 60% of the payroll for 60% of the loan proceeds for the payroll. What happens to them? Is it must? I mean, if they cannot spend, then they lose the entire forgiveness amount, forgiveness eligibility. Is it must? We don't have an answer for this. Is payroll cost capped at 15,385 for employees and self-employees? Answer, as of now, it is still 15,385. Even they increase the covered period from 8 weeks to 24 weeks. This 15,000 is not yet extended. They may come up with some clarification. And forgiveness are not tax deductible in financial year 2020 tax return. My favorite topic. Whatever money you are deducting, example, you got $100,000. You used for the payroll, $100,000 used for the payroll and rent. You got the forgivable amount. You got entire forgiveness 100%. Now you need to file a tax return for the 2020 in the next year. The money, actually, whatever you spent, the payroll or rent, that is not a tax deductible expense. In other words, that will result in increasing your profit. Indirectly, whatever number you are getting is a forgivable amount. It can be 100,000, it can be 500,000, or it can be 1 million, 2 million, 4 million. I have few clients who got some 6, 7, 8 millions also as PPP loans. For them also, or it can be $10,000 or $20,000. For any number, it is taxable. The forgivable amount is completely taxable at this point. So now what to do? Only option we have is wait, sit and wait. Just sit and wait till SBI issues interim rules and guidelines. And Safeguarding Small Business Act. What is Safeguarding Small Business Act? Is a new terminology. This is to support tax deductible. It is referring to the last point. Forgive expenses are not tax deductible. But if the Safeguarding Small Business Act, this is a bill introduced by Senate a month back. IRS, after they announced that okay, all these amounts are forgivable, IRS came up and saying, hey, these all amounts are forgivable, very good. So then those are not tax deductible. Indirectly, you need to pay taxes for all the forgivable amount. Then Senate came up saying that no, that is not our intention. We want to help the business owners. So we want to introduce a new act or a new bill, which is a Safeguarding Small Business Act. They introduced this act 1 month back in Senate, requesting them all those expenses are still tax deductible. Interestingly, no movement on that act even by on the bill even by 1 inch. Even Senate, it's not even come up for hearing also. It's not yet passed, not yet come up for hearing. Senate has to pass, House has to pass, President has to sign, then IRS has to give a clarification. So what is the probability? No idea. IRS is saying those are the basic fundamentals. If they are not spending the money from their pocket, maybe for payroll, rent, utilities, whatever it is, why do I allow them as a business expense? It's a fundamentally it is wrong. That's what IRS statement. Senate is saying no. CARES Act intention is different. So now we will see. Only what we can do, wait and see. So what we have done with all this? How do we made all this calculation? See, this is so confusing. There are so many times they are changing it. Do you know how many times they have done the changes? How many times we have to update all our workings? So complicated, comprehensive. They are making the things more complicated day by day, day by day. Every week, Friday, they are releasing some rules, changing the rules completely. Whatever workings a finance professional like us, whatever all our interpretations are gone. Whatever I spoke in last week, my webinar, no more valid. The rules are changed. We have to update everything, including SBA has released forgiveness application a couple of weeks back, which now they have to issue a new application format completely. All our efforts, they will be reissuing the application again. So we need to get updated again. So now what we have done, whatever the application format they are giving, application is 11 pages. It has so many calculations, computations, complexities. We don't let that. We play with numbers. So what we did is everything we streamlined into an Excel files. See this, whatever is application, the same format, we built our Excel forms, Excel files, everything calculated. So then see, this is an application, this is our Excel calculation in the same format. You just fill the data, just key in our data into this Excel file. Forgiveness calculations automatically happens. And how do we make calculations? Okay, so see, these all are different Excel calculations, safe harbor calculations, everything we captured into the Excel from the application. So now see the updates. Personally, how many updates we keep doing for our Excel file, how complicated it is. See this, whenever there is a change, we are even tracking at what time we are doing the changes, because they're changing the rules. We already circulated our first version of Excel templates with a few of our clients and outside. Now they're coming back and changing. So see this, at what time, what date, how many times we are updating. These are the latest updates. How many times we are updating, changing the weeks from 6 weeks to 24 weeks. Is it impacting any of the calculations? Very closely monitoring comprehensive calculations, so that whenever, if you become my client, you get all these accesses. And from next week onwards, I am also launching this separate. If you are interested for this Excel files, and if you are not my client, I am going to share it from the next week onwards. Feel free to send an email to me. I will share this with you. And I'm just building a software where I can share this Excel file with all of you guys, so that you keep whatever the changes comes up, you can just follow this Excel file. Everything is captured. I developed 2 different Excel files, one for the self-employed, one for business owners. Okay, now PPP loan is over. Now I'm getting into the second one, economic disaster loan. Why I'm adding this? Few of you guys requested me. There are some changes coming. There are something happening in the EADL. What's happening? What to do? Just I thought of giving my perception. because there is a lot of negativity about this loan in the internet and YouTube channels. I'm trying to give my interpretation. If you get, I hope you already got an email from the SBA. Create an account, see how much funds you are eligible. To the maximum of $150,000, they are giving loans. It's an economic injury disaster loan. I'm not going through all the terms now. It's a 3.75% interest, which is a 30 years loan, and $150,000 is the maximum loan you can get it. If you already received an email, then you can go and accept the loan, and I will give you what to do for how you need to use the funds. Approved uses, you can use the funds for the operating expenses, payroll, accounts payable, and any other bills. Okay, you can use all those for this purpose. So what documents you need for this? You need to maintain a detailed itemized receipts, paid invoices for every expense, whatever for every transaction, how you are using the money, and all relevant contracts. If you are using it to pay the rent, you need to submit a contract to the SPA, and you need to maintain all receipts, bills, contracts, invoices, everything for at least 3 years. You need to maintain it. Prior written approval of SBA is required for any for usage of any non-eligible expenses. You got the loan, you want to buy some, you want to take out from the business, or you want to give distributions of profit distributions, or if you want to buy some equipment, or if you want to buy you want to repay your debt, please get a written approval from SBA before you use the funds for non-eligible expenses. And to the extent possible, purchase only American-made equipment and products. Please make a note of this. $150,000 you can use. To the extent possible, only use for American-made equipment products. This is coming from the guidelines given by SBA. Additional fund request. You can request for additional funds within 2 years. If you are not happy with the funds what you received, you can request for additional funds. You need to call SBA and ask for that. Then maintain proper books of accounts. You have to maintain proper books of accounts till you repay your debt. Proceeds not to use, and my comments. You cannot use this EIDL loan funds to refinance any debt. You cannot use these funds to make payments on loans owned by any other federal agency, including SBA. If we have SBA loans, you cannot use these funds to repay those loans. You cannot use these funds to pay penalties, which is resulting of negligence or fraud. You might have paying penalties for late payment of income taxes. You cannot use this money for the penalties. You can repair physical damage. You cannot use the money for the physical, like capital assets, anything, you cannot use it. Or you cannot use the funds to pay dividends or distributions to the owners, partners, officers, or stockholders, except for reasonable remuneration directly related to their performance. What does it mean? It doesn't mean that you cannot give bonus or salary or advances to employees or business owners from non-EIDL funds. These conditions are applicable only for EIDL proceeds only, which is a maximum $150,000 you received. So my interpretation, non-EIDL funds could be used for any other purpose, no restrictions, as long as you keep this $150,000 or whatever money you got in a separate bank account and maintain it in separate bank account and maintain it very closely. Use funds only for the given purpose. You don't need to worry about how you are using your other funds of the business. EIDL, this is my interpretation, I'm giving more details. EIDL is a working capital loan with the purpose of getting the businesses back on its feet. They want to help you by giving in working capital so that you don't close your business. Not as a cheap interest loan for owners. So if you think that, okay, can I use this money to withdraw funds? Sorry, I got the $150,000. Can I take this $150,000 as a profit distribution? Answer is no. EADL proceeds, you cannot use it. But non-EADL funds, you can use it. SBA wants the businesses to not only survive, but to thrive. SBA wants to help you. Many people ask me, hey, I got 150K, but I have a business of $3 million. As per the regulations, can't I take a bonus? Can't I take a profit from the business for the 30 years? No way. SBA is trying to help you to survive. Okay, there are no restrictions on how to take the money for when you want to use non-EADL funds. People start the businesses to make money. People, why? How can SBA restrict someone taking the money out from the business? You have a business profits, you have a cash balance in the business. Why can't you take it? You are doing the business to make profit. How can someone can restrict yours? Then preventing the small business owners from taking money out of the business for 30 years would eliminate any incentive of the number 2 alone. SBA won't be restricting you to take the money out from your business if you got EADL loan. You might be thinking, why Anil is saying all this? There are many people, many business owners got confused with this interpretation. There are many online articles saying that owners cannot take the money out for 30 years, so that don't take the EADL loan funds. No, that is wrong. Take the EADL funds, keep it in a separate bank account, then boom, you use the other business, other money you have, you can use it in whatever way you want. With this, I am completing PPP loan and also the EADL loan. So then I'm going to my next favorite topic. All this over almost. The loans are over. We got the funds. We are using the funds. Many people I know, they completed using the funds. Or even you have some money left over, you may be using it in the next maybe 1 month. After that, what happens? Now you're going to see what happens after that. The topic is proactive tax planning. It's not a tax planning, it's a proactive tax planning. Why I'm saying that, I will explain this. This is our P&L. Just I took some examples. This is your P&L income statement for the financial year 2020. Assume you got a gross revenue of $1 million. You have a direct cost of $50,000, and direct payroll you have $350,000, and direct cost some other expenses $50,000, which is the total cost is $400,000. You have a gross margin of $600,000. Then you have an operating expenses. Again, payroll you have rent, utilities, others. Expenses are $385, total operating expenses. So what is my net profit for the business? You generated a revenue of $1 million. Your net profit is $200,000, which is a 20%, 10 to 20% of the business profits are very common. And what is your taxable income? $250,000. Approximately, if you are paying 35% of taxes, you are going to pay $75,250 on an average. It can be more, it can be less, because you have a state tax, you have a federal tax. So you have to pay, but of course, there are states like us, Washington, we don't have state tax. But Virginia, New Jersey, New York, or Georgia, you have state taxes also. So then all together, the average how much you are paying is 35%. So how much tax at the end of the year you are supposed to pay? $75,000. This is what a typical income statement look like. Now what's happening? With PPP forgiveness, you got a PPP forgiveness. And if you understand my previous slides, those expenses are not tax deductible. It means you got the same 1 million revenue, you got the direct cost, but the PPP funds you used for the payroll, so that there might not be any payroll expenses to the extent of whatever money you used. For easy reference, I just had to completely take the payroll out. And for operating expenses, payroll is no more because you got the free money from the government. Rent, you got the free money. Utilities, you got the free money. Others, $80,000. Why I did that like this? I'm sure because you didn't get lot of forgivable. You might have got only for 2 months or 3 months forgivable amount, but just for the easy reference only, I took these numbers. Don't come back and saying that, hey, no, I didn't use complete 100% of year financial entire year payroll expenses are covered by forgivable amount. No, I know that, but just for easy reference, I've given this. So if this working happens, now what is your taxable income? $870,000. What is the average rate? 304K tax rate you need to pay tax. It's just a comparison. See this. Instead of $75,000, you are going to pay $300,000 in taxes, not in income. Taxable income, it's a taxes. So there is an outflow of $229,000. If you got some money for the forgivable amount, please keep some money for taxes also. Otherwise, you will be facing a lot of problems at the time of filing your tax returns next year. If you use the entire money for something else, you are going to hit the bar. So now, 229K, you have to pay a lot of taxes. Now I will just go into in more details. Complexity of the 2x tax code. You may be thinking, hey, I have the bank transactions. I prepared, I give it, generally what happens in general. At the end of the year, you prepare your financials, P&L, or you might have bank transactions, or you might have QuickBooks online. At the end, what is your income? What are your expenses? You got some profit. You give this P&L to your CPA. What does he do? He prepare a tax return. Whatever numbers you give, he just plug in there. He may be giving a couple of ideas. But see the complexity. But no one is actually spending a lot of time on tax planning. See the complexity. Tax code is not a small one. It's not a small one. There are more than 2,600 pages of internal revenue code and over 70,000 pages if rules, regulations, tax code proceedings are included. And in Amazon.com website itself, there are more than 50,000 tax books are available. 2018 was the first year of the biggest tax reform our country saw in over 30 years. With these changes, it comes with a lot of uncertainty, but also new tax planning. Who has time to read all this? Who has capacity, even who has bandwidth to understand the tax code? Your CPAs or your tax, I'm not saying that they are, they are experts on tax return filing, but there are a lot of opportunities on tax planning. But before this, I want to talk about this. In this world, nothing is certain but death and taxes. How many people agree with this? You can't escape taxes. You can't escape to death. You have to pay taxes. But this is overruled by Amazon in 2019 actually. 2018, the Amazon net profit were $11.2 billion. I'm not talking about revenue, net profits. The federal tax, how much it paid? Zero. How? Tax planning. You need to plan for your future. You are a business owner. You have to do the planning in advance. And it doesn't mean that you can also reach out to the zero tax. You can know. It takes a lot of time, a lot of strategies you need to implement. Amazon is too big company. They do a lot of research. They spend money in a very thoughtful way. But you can reduce your tax liabilities over the time. It takes some time, slowly, year by year, you can work on this. So what is the major difference between tax planning and tax preparation? Tax preparation is the process of preparing a tax returns for the submission to the IRS. That's it. You give your financial statement to an accountant. What they do is they fill the blanks. They give some recommendations. I'm not saying no. There are some really good accountants are available. I love them. I admire them. So but they are helping on tax preparation. But tax planning is the process of looking at person's life, business, and at a life, business, and regulatory requirements to legally reduce the taxes. And when it has to be happen, before the year end or tax filing season, not at the after the year end. After the just before filing your tax return, 4 days back, you go to the CPA or accountant or your tax consultant, you go and say that, hey, save me taxes. He cannot do anything. You have to plan now for the end of for this year. 2020, already you completed 5 months. How much time you spend for your tax planning? You might have spent time for your vacation, you might have spent time for thinking about your business, but you are paying 30-40% whatever money you are getting, your income, business, hard end income, you are paying a lot of taxes to the IRS. And IRS has given some rules where you can save taxes, but people are not using it, not optimizing it. I categorized, we wrote some books on this, and I categorized entire tax planning into 5 buckets: deductions, entity structure, insurance, retirement, advanced strategies, and niche strategies. I am not going to cover everything in detail, but I'm trying to just cover it. But again, next week, or I'm planning to have one more detailed, exclusive tax planning webinar. So in that, I will be talking more on that. What about the deductions? There are many deductions. People are not even aware of this. Home office expenses. Even you might have a home. Even you might have an office. You might have 2 offices, 3 offices. Still, if you are working from home, you are eligible. You can claim home office deductions, utilities, insurance, HOA, security, mortgage interest, property taxes. All this can be claimed. If you are not doing it, you are paying more taxes. Travel expenses. You can go travel. You can do travel, new business opportunities, identify properties, conferences, seminars. You can go. No restrictions. You can go. Meals categories. You can spend money for your business, for you can for the deductions. Hiring children. You can hire your kids. They may be helping your business. Maximizing depreciation. There are many benefits available on bonus depreciation and Section 175 is depreciation. I'm going it very fast because of time, considering the time. But I will go through all in more detail in the next tax planning season, next tax planning webinar. Healthcare strategies, accountable plans, startup costs. There are so many expenses you can incur. You can claim deductions. Computers, laptops, monitors, education, training expenses, tax planning fee, tax services, accounting services. Anything you can do it. And the second one is entity optimization, legal entity optimization. If you are a single member, your single member LLC, it's a time to open your eyes and see how much profit you are making. There are ways where you can save taxes by converting your LLC into the S Corp. And C Corp, if it's a C Corp, it's a flat 21% of tax rate. There are FICA taxes you can save if you convert into the S Corp. Retirement planning. There are many ways in the retirement. People think only 401k is available. No, there are many other ways where you can save money, where you can build your retirement, tax-free retirement, tax deferrals, tax savings. I mean, for individuals, there are opportunities. For self-employed or business owners, SEP IRA, Simple IRA, Solo 401k, and the regular 401k, safe harbor strategy. There are different strategies available. And there are also one more LIRP, life insurance retirement planning. These are different options available, and advanced strategies. Advanced tax strategies. This is beyond the work hard strategies. You can't even find all those strategies even in Google. You can go and do if everyone gets everything in the Google. The Google, whatever information you get in the Google, that is not customized for you. A person to person, the tax sequences, the tax structure changes based on where there are, the tax recommendation changes, tax planning strategies, implementation changes based on your entity structure, based on your income levels, based on your business, based on your forecast. You can do a lot of things. I want to just advance the tax strategies. I want to cover this into 3 subtopics. Is your business impacted because of the COVID? I am connecting the advanced tax strategies with COVID-19. There are many advantages now, correct? There are many There are CARES Act now. There is FFCRA Act, Family Protection Act is there now. Family First Corona Response Act is there. There are many new acts are there in this year. Are you optimizing all those benefits? I will explain all those things. Shut down. Your business might be in a stage where you are ready to shut down, or maybe nearby. Your business is not coping up, or your business may be at status quo, or it may be a little change, or your business is thriving and going. So how do we plan all this? So now, if you are in a business, if your business is almost shutting down, or you are in the problem, then example, a restaurant, you might need to pay $20,000 monthly rent. Employees are making more money than in unemployment, so they are not willing to come back. And even you reopen the business is reopen is anticipated at 25% capacity. Do you agree with this? Even you open the business, people are not completely ready to come and eat at your restaurants. Just this is an example I'm taking. There are many other retail businesses. In those cases, what we do? Crisis planning. So crisis planning includes we analyze CARES Act completely. CARES Act is 1800 pages plus document. We analyze it. FFCRA tax credit planning, like Family First Corona Response Act. These two acts introduced this year. Did your CPS speak about this act benefits with you? If not, it's a time to look for. This is the time you need to think about the cash flow planning. This is the time you need to think about, for suppose if you need to close your business, there are many businesses they closed. You need to have some guidance on how to close your business in a very smooth way. And we can help you with all those things. And NOL opportunities, net operating loss. If your business is in the losses for the last couple of years, there are opportunities. You can monetize your losses into the cash. If there are some rules applicable, we can help you there. Then status quo. If your business is the same, might not growing too big or not much impacted, what happens? Now, what strategies you can think about? Like an IT management company. Revenues are unchanged. Revenue unchanged. Working from home. Many employees are working from home now. Initial uncertainty of pipeline has recovered. I mean, in the month of March and April, you were thinking that, okay, business is impacting. No, slowly it started recovering it. So now what strategies you need to think of? Hybrid crisis and tax planning. This is what I say. I do it for my clients. I optimize what we can do. We can optimize what we can do for the CARES and FFCR tax credit planning, net operating loss opportunities, cash flow opportunities, standard tax planning, and tax advantaged investing. So these are different strategies we can think of and we can implement it. And growth. Few businesses are really grown too big. I mean, they're like an e-commerce. They're doing amazing business. Amazon is not able to deliver my goods on time till now. Still, they're struggling. I wanted to order my webcam a long time back, but I didn't even get my webcam for 1 month because they're super busy. They don't have the bandwidth to even to deliver. So now the businesses are grown up so much. Revenue up by 10% year on year might be. Not participating, even they are not eligible for EADL or PPP loans. They are not declining. They are declining, and they might be having some expansion plans. So in those cases, what strategies we implement? We recommend tax planning. We recommend CARES and FFCR Act planning, NOL, net operating loss opportunities, standard tax planning, forward-looking approach. There is a different strategies we can implement. And apart from this, post-COVID, I also think about many other opportunities like active income, passive income treatments, treatment of earned passive portfolio income, passive loss limitations. There are limitations. You cannot write off all your passive losses with other incomes. So what are the strategies you need to follow? Special rules for real estate professionals. If you are a real estate professional, there are a lot more advantages we have now. Please reach out to me. I can help you there. Or otherwise, you can do your research. Partnership. If you are a partnership, there are active and passive strategies we can follow. And why real estate loves partnership? most of the real estate professionals or real estate investors have partnerships. So what advantages? Are you optimizing all those tax advantages or not? Thank you very much. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot a question in the Q&A. And these are the services which I offer. We offer my specialization is tax planning. I can save a minimum of $10,000 to the $50,000 if you are a business owner. And this I do it only for the business owners, only for the small business owners. And we offer bookkeeping, CFO services, where we completely manage your books. Why do you need to spend a lot of time on running your books, looking into AP collections, AR collections, or what was my profit, how the business went through? Why do you need to break your head? Rather, you spend the time with your family or use that money quality time. Use that quality time to run your business. You need to focus on the business operations, marketing, or work on revenue generation. It can be a couple of hours in a week, but still you are not delegating your work. If you don't delegate your work, you are not utilizing your time properly. And I can help you. We can also help you on entire financial planning, estate planning, protection planning, retirement planning, college funding, tax saving strategies. Everything we can do it. And if you're looking for a tax planning, please schedule a appointment with me. We are happy to help you. And if you want to be part of the WhatsApp group for the CARES Act updates, feel free to just open your camera, keep your camera from your mobile, keep it before the barcode, automatically a link pops up. You can just join in the WhatsApp groups or schedule a meeting with me. It can be for the forgiveness planning support, or it can be for tax planning strategies. Tax planning, it's a free assessment we are doing. I don't charge anything for the free assessment. You can have 1 hour meeting with me, and we can go through that, where you are now and how much taxes you are overpaying. And you can use this link to click this, use this link to schedule a meeting with me if you have any problem in scanning the barcodes. And feel free to send an email to me or WhatsApp me or contact me or text me, not WhatsApp. We are not using the WhatsApp on this number effectively. Email me. So, and I will get into the Q&A. Meanwhile, you can go through. You can schedule a meeting with me if you want. I'm getting the Q&A. I am going through only Q&A box. I'm not going through the chat. If you have posted any answers in the questions in the chat, please post it in the Q&A. And I will be spending only 15 minutes on the Q&A, and I will open 4 to 5 lines for questions. After that, please schedule a meeting with me if you want to talk to me. I want to close this meeting on time because few people are complaining that I am extending the meeting. So please, I don't want to hear those things. Okay. Dear Anil Garu, I am a Scarp single owner with single owner, no employees. Do I have to run a payroll for this quarter? There is no income. I ran it for the last quarter. 1 second. Dear Anil Garu, I am a Scarp single owner, no employees. So I'm sorry, there is some light impact. Dear Anil Garu, I'm a Scarp single owner, no employees. Do I have to run payroll? Okay. Do I have to run payroll for this quarter? Single owner, no employees. There is no income. I ran it for the last quarter to qualify even without income. Thanks. Okay, if you already got PPP loan, then you have to run your payroll to get the exemption because you are an escort owner. Lakshmi, there are 2 windows. Okay, so I think I answered this question. And can anonymous, can sole proprietor can take $15,000 in one check? Sole proprietors are not required to withdraw money at all. It's automatically by default. You can check it. You can take it in 1 check or 2 checks or 5 checks. It doesn't matter. By default, you are exempted $15,000. Forgiven for $15,000. Vikrant, hi Anil, 15,385 is the cap. Can we just consider next pay? Answer is yes, you can do that. Then Ravi, if I have an employee whom I pay $5,128 for 4 weeks, I can pay him for 12 weeks and